Hello all, welcome to another video under this office procedure series, and today in this video I'll be discussing about the basic duties of the dealing assistants. Somewhere they are called dealing hands, somewhere they are called dealing assistants, who are basically in charge of particular files in every branch, in every section of any government institution, and it is also relating to other officers or basically offices where this dealing assistant are there. So the first and most important is the opening of files. So as we know that it's a dynamic world we are living in, and every day and with time new things are evolving. So in government offices you will see that new and new dimensions are being touched and new correspondence are coming, different type of issues are coming, especially in this government offices, district offices in particular. So new files are opened every now and then. So these are the primary responsibility of the dealing assistant. Suppose one dealing assistant is relating to the judicial branch of your institution. So if a new matter has come, suppose now the use of drones is catching up. People are using drones. So this permission for drone use has to be issued by the Deputy Commissioner's office. So one new file has to be opened. So the dealing assistant relating to the judicial will be opening a new file, and then subsequently this maintenance of this new file is very important. Maintenance is a very broad word. It covers so many things that it should be properly numbered, it should be properly indexed, it should be properly this cover file should be there, name should be proper, it should be properly kept and maintained. The note sheet should be proper, they should be numbered, docketing should be done, correspondence should be numbered. So many, whatever we have discussed. In fact, if you want to see more details, I have uploaded one video on this file management and also on noting and drafting. So that covers all these details. So all those are the duties basically of the dealing assistant. Now another very apart from opening and maintaining, the custody. The custody of files is also very important, because the dealing assistant will be responsible for the proper safe keep of these files. He will have the custody of the files. So if a particular dealing assistant is going on early, he is supposed to transfer the custody to other dealing assistant. If he is being retired, he has to transfer. If he is being transferred, he has to give the custody to the other dealing assistant. So these all things basically are duties of the dealing assistant, and it is very important, and it should be done at at the time to time. It should be ensured that proper custody and maintenance of file is being done. So now when this transfer of DAs happened, then this taking over exercise has to be properly done. It has to be recorded on a piece of paper that what kind of files are being handed over, what kind of files are being taken over from one dealing assistant to another. So this is also a duty of a dealing assistant, to do proper custody and handing over, taking over. Now when putting up the file, proper draft and note. So whenever a dealing assistant is putting up a file, he has to ensure that the draft is properly made. Now this also has various dimensions. The proper style of drafting. Now there are different types of draft, as I have already discussed in one video. It can be a letter, it can be a DO letter, it can be an order, office order, OM. There are so many things. So what it has to be, and in the note sheet also, whether it's properly docketed, whether it's properly numbered, whether properly all the facts and precedents and rule have been mentioned in the note itself, whether properly he had signed and mentioned all the references in the letter. So all those things are the duties of the dealing assistant. Once again, there is a separate video on noting and drafting. There is another video on file management system also in under the same series of office procedures. So please watch that if you have not watched it already. So these are the duties of the dealing assistant. Now next is that moving receipts to a file moving receipts. Sometimes what happens is maybe the correspondence or the receipt has not been put in the proper file. It may belong to somewhere in some judicial branch, but it has been put wrongly in the general. So this is the proper moving of this receipt is also, and proper putting up of the receipt is also the responsibility of the dealing assistant, and also opening of new file. As we have discussed in the video on file management, and noting that once the file becomes bulky, once the correspondence crosses 150 or 200 pages, it should be properly closed, and then a new volume of that file should be opened. So all these are responsibilities of the dealing assistant. Now next point is to reproduce remarks on note sheet. This again is a very important. Sometimes officials, they put their remarks on the PUC or the DARC, which is directly put up to them, but that remarks is not reproduced in the note sheet. So basically in the official record it has not come, although it is mentioned in the DARC, but as per standard procedure of noting, these things have to be noted down and brought to the note sheet by the dealing assistant or the dealing hand. So this is also important duty of the dealing assistant. Now the next is again this all these relating to noting, that proper note sheets are maintained and the proper numbering is done, the referencing is done in the draft. So this is also comes under the maintenance only, but this proper numbering. Now numbering is a generic term here, and it is basically, it refers to so many things: the proper numbering of the file, the numbering of the note sheet, the numbering of the correspondence, the numbering of the paragraphs in the note. There are so many referencing and numbering. So this is a generic term. I am not going into the details of it, but this basically mentions the whole numbering and formatting basically of the entire numbering and formatting of the basically file which has to be given. So now apart from that, this proper drafting, optimal drafting. I want to discuss here one point regarding this optimal drafting. Now what happens is that when a draft is prepared by the dealing assistant, it is put to some superior, and then it is corrected, then again it is corrected by another higher official, and then so much of pages are being, and time, effort is being wasted in that. So one of the best ways is that now most of the dealing assistant, they already know how to use computer, they have access to the desktops. So whatever draft they have made, that can be emailed to the superior authority or the branch officer, and then they can do the final changes, and then the approved draft from the email can be put up for signature. So this will reduce a lot of time which is required for to and fro movement of the file. This will also save a lot of paper. So I call it, and in fact we use it in our DC office, and it greatly reduces the need of paper, and it makes the whole process very, very fast. So this I refer to as optimal drafting. So dealing assistant should use that. So overall, these are the duties of the dealing hand or dealing assistant. There are many more, but in order to keep this video short and to the point and concise, like our note should be, so that is why I kept it really very short. So I hope all the dealing assistant who are watching this video has given some clarity on the roles of dealing assistant and various offices, and how to maintain this proper file, how to do proper noting. And there are so many other videos on this under this series of office procedure. So all the dealing assistants and all the newly especially joined the dealing assistants in government offices, you will find these videos very, very useful and helpful, and it can be used for training purposes. So I hope you have liked this small video on duties of dealing assistant. Please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon for alerts on new videos. Share it with those who want to see this kind of content, and thank you so much for watching.